Hello everyone and welcome again to this interview series with amazing conscious women in business. I'm Lynn Horde, the Joy Coach, and today I am interviewing my friend and one of the amazing ladies I've met over my entrepreneurial journey, Lara Waldman. Hello, lovely Lara.
Hello, lovely to be here with you.
So great to have you here. So first, I'll just let everybody know who you are before we get into the questions I've got for you today. So Lara is the Abundance Activator. She's an inspirational speaker, healer, abundance coach, and author of the book Money Manifestation Mastery: 5 Steps to Abundance Activation, which is on her website if you want to get a copy. I've got one, it's great. Lara empowers female entrepreneurs and business owners to attract more money into their life and business. She teaches women how to use money manifestation as a vehicle to fulfilling their life's purpose and making the change they were born to make. So I'm so glad that you could make it here today, lovely Lara. Just to share, I feel like sharing. I was like, Lara's in the middle of a cleanse. Crazy. I have never done a cleanse before. Like, is it like for like health? Like, why do you do a cleanse?
Good question. Lots of reasons, I think. But yeah, general health, give your body a chance to catch up with itself and give it a chance to kind of heal itself, I suppose. I haven't done a cleanse since before I had children, so that's been like about 15 years because I didn't know how to do a cleanse and look after little people because you get kind of low energy.
Yeah, right.
So it's interesting. I haven't done something like this for a while. Like sometimes I'll cut out things from my diet for a period of time, like coffee or alcohol or sugar. I'll do little mini cleanses that aren't so hard, but so we'll see how this one goes.
Yeah, no, you've inspired me to actually give it a whirl. I've cut out coffee for a month, and I tell you, people who know me, that's a big deal. But I haven't done the full cleanse. I'm getting a NutriBullet soon, so maybe I'll actually give it a whirl and see what happens. Yeah. Anyway, that's slightly off topic. So just to give some background, Lara and I have been friends for 3 or 4 years, something like that.
That's good. Yeah.
We met at a networking event a while back and just have a lot in common, hit it off, and now we have fun Friday lunches quite often. We go in, solve the world's problems and have brunch and talk about amazing things about being women in business. And we actually met last week, so I was like, great, I know some of the things that we are going to be talking about today. So first off though, so Lara's journey in business recently has been a little bit unusual. So I'm going to let her tell the story, but one of the reasons I wanted to ask you about it today was because we're often looking for a linear path, but that's never the case. Like nobody's journey is linear as much as we're like, please can it be? Although some people might go, great, it's not. But anyway, yours has been particularly unusual. So if you could share, like, what happened? What was the guidance for you to do? Was it like about 9 months ago now?
Yeah. So first of all, I guess the first thing to explain is one of the things that's kind of unusual about me, I suppose, is that I always follow my inner guidance. I made a pact with myself about 15 years ago to always follow my intuition and listen. So I have these daily meetings with myself, with my higher self, my inspiration, my intuition, and I get instructions about what to do and how to move forward with life and business. And before 9 months ago, if that makes any sense, I was moving forward with growing my business and serving clients and writing my book and getting out there online, and all stuff that really scared me a lot. So it was really uncomfortable at the time. But things were going really well with my business, and things were finally starting to grow in the way that I'd wanted, and also kind of the way that I'd seen as in ideas or visions for my future.
Yeah.
So it was all going really well. And then last August, I guess it's 2017, I got this, I went to Sweden on my family holiday, and I sat in meditation and heard, "Welcome home, Lara. You've arrived." And I thought, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm supposed to be living in Sweden? What is this? And they said, "Welcome, you've arrived. you've come home, welcome home. And I said, what does that mean? What does that mean? So I was sitting with that kind of slightly confused as to what exactly that meant. And then through August, I started getting the message to stop working in my business, to stop doing anything in my business. And I thought, well, that makes sense. It's really important to take time out. I did a similar thing last August where I completely went offline. So I was like, that makes sense. No email, no Facebook, get offline for August. And I find that when I really take a step back and undo, that's when inspiration and ideas and insights come. So I thought, this is good. This is good business strategy to take August off and to rest and to enjoy family time. So then I got back from our holiday at the end of August and then received this guidance. And how I sort of hear words, I suppose, and also I get visuals. And I guess inner knowing is how it comes in three ways. And this one was a message that said, Lara, now it's time to stop doing everything that you learned from your business coaches. So I've invested.
You're like, what the hell?
But also because I've been working with business coaches for the last 3 years, and they've really helped me a lot getting my business online and things like that. And I've invested a lot of time and money in my business coaching. Yeah. And then the idea to just stop doing everything I was told was a huge message. And although, so I say that I follow my intuition and I listen to it, but I also fight it. So my mind.
It's good to, and I'm so glad you share that, because, you know, I know, like, you are a deeply intuitive, you know, spiritual person, you know, and I know how much you follow your guidance, but in some ways it's a relief for me to know that you still have a little bit of resistance in there to it.
Oh yeah, a lot. Especially when it's like, stop everything you've been doing and how you've been doing it.
That's hardcore.
And my mind, so there's that intuition, there's the heart, there's that infinite wisdom, and then there's our mind and our ego. And my mind just really kind of started freaking out, basically. So it just basically really started to be in this sort of questioning and asking, and actually kind of spun me out into a bit of anxiety, to be honest. Like, what does that mean? What does that mean? No, you know, and then as the month went on, so then we got into September and it kept on coming, the same message. And it said, stop making videos, stop doing your Facebook posts, stop sending out newsletters. This is what it was saying. But I was like, this is how I build my business. This is how I get out there. And then, you know, come about October time, the guidance didn't stop. So I was expecting, right, it'd be like, take a break from your business, stop for a few weeks, and then you're going to get this big flash of inspiration and you're going to know what the next thing is. Because that's always been how things go for me. I have to let go, and then the new information comes in. So I was waiting for the new set of instructions, and it just didn't come. So all of September, it was just let go, let go, let go. Then October, it was still let go, let go, let go. But at this point, money started drying up as well, because I wasn't out there actively growing my business. Now, some things did come in. So there were some things that did come in. But it was a very, very confusing time for my poor little mind, and very scary. And then at that point, I thought, maybe, Lara, you have actually lost your mind now. Maybe this is just like, who would in their right mind would do this? And not that many people, I guess.
In October, you spoke at the Joy Jam sessions, the networking event. So, you know, you actually shared a little bit during your talk about it. And you're just like, I'm following the guides. I don't know what the hell is happening here, but this is what they're saying. And so this is what I'm following. Like, it was, you know, and so brave of you to just keep going.
Yeah, or crazy, one or the other. But because I've had this 15 years of always listening to my intuition, and it's always right. It's always serves me, even though it doesn't make sense. I can't not trust it. It was so clear. And anyway, and it was funny. I remember being at your Joy Jam session, being like, I'm not even here promoting anything, you know. So, but it's been very, very interesting, the whole journey. So now I've got some retrospect, you know, now in retrospect, I can understand what this has been about. But now it's been about 9 months.
Yeah.
So I was expecting that
what do you think it has been about?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy, because if you told me 9 months ago that this is what would have been happening, I don't think I could have coped with the information, really. But I mean, there's so much. I've got so much in this basically huge period of letting go. And there's been so many layers and levels to what I've learned and what I understand. But how I was working up until 9 months ago was aligned at that time. It was very much, I was getting guidance to do all the things I was doing. It was aligned. It was on track. But then it was time for a change. And I don't know if any of you guys have been through this. You're going along, life's going along, and then suddenly you get this feeling of like 180-degree flip. It's happened to me a few times in my life, actually. And they can be very, very uncomfortable times. But what I was ready for, so basically my work is all about connecting to the heart and the soul, so that what we're doing, everything we're doing in the physical realm is aligned with that. And I find that when we're in alignment and in flow, things tend to go well and feel good. Doesn't mean it's easy though. Does not mean it's easy. So what I started to get, so let's say September, October time, what really hit me strongly then was, okay, well, if I'm not creating content, if I'm not serving clients, if I'm not making a difference and helping people, what is my value?
Right.
What is my worth? And with clients, it's often a lot of the work is about self-worth. And what I realized was that my self-worth was tied up in what I do. And so you take that away, then who am I? And what is my value? And what I know, especially when I'm working with clients, is that our value isn't about what we do. It's about who we are. And I know that, and I coach my clients with that, but there was a part of me that wasn't fully embodying that aspect of myself. So I would say the big thing that I've had to get is to know like who I am and my value and my worth separate from my work. And I got a lot of, although my running a business is challenging, I got a lot of my sense of self from what I did. And I received a lot from giving. So you take that away, and then it was quite uncomfortable. It was really quite uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And then had to sit with, uncomfortable feelings that were, I guess, stopping me from feeling that worth and connecting to that worth and who I am. So, yeah, I mean, that's, I guess, the fundamental thing.
And that's really interesting because that's a thread that's been running through the conversations I've been having with other ladies on the interview series, ones generally that I'm having something with clients and also just with friends. It just, it's like there's a new level of, and I've had it myself, like just a couple of weeks ago, I had this massive, I was like, wow, I've tied up my self-worth with, and for me at that time was specifically about like my money and how much money was in my bank account or how much money I made. And I was like, whoa, like it was, and it wasn't, and it was just like a whole new level of, wow, that's right in my face right now. I can really see, and then it's like the work of trying to untangle it. And I guess, you were put in a position through your guidance to just like, it was like, right, it was time, I guess, a time they're like, right, okay, we need you to really know that this, you are worthwhile, valuable just by being you, just by being, full stop.
Exactly. And the hilarious thing is, this is what I teach, this is what I write about. This is, and yet we can often be really good at what we do, especially in our business, but not always be integrating it for ourselves. So I think, well, the same women, I tend to work with women. We tend to overgive and tend to kind of give our energy outwards. And what I realized is I was massively overgiving. So I was like, all my energy was going outwards. It was all going to serve and to help others. And I would give, like I could give to you everything. And yet what I got was I wasn't fully receiving for me.
Yeah.
And this again is what I teach, which is hilarious to me. But I was like, this whole thing where, okay, Lara, you now need to really kind of embody everything you've been teaching on a whole new level, which is about receiving our self-worth, and knowing that we're valuable just for who we are and who we be allows us then to actually receive more as well.
Yeah.
And which includes money, hilariously, as well. So
Yes.
that's all what the kind of abundance work is about. But sometimes we have to, if we have an old programming or an old way of being or working, like for me, the way that I was working what was no longer aligned or was actually blocking me from my abundance.
Right.
Because of this, for lots of reasons, but let's just say this over-giving pattern where I was focusing outward all the time and creating content for others and creating programs for others. It was for myself too, but that's why what I got now is I had to stop it all in order for me to find myself on a new level.
Yes.
It was just a new level of me that was ready to be discovered or connected to.
Now, the other thing I know that you have not necessarily learned, but has become quite, obvious for you along the journey is about enjoying the journey. That's something we might have talked about a few times. So would you like to share what you've learned around that?
So funny. So I was telling Lynn that I've been getting one of the messages from my very clever guidance has been follow the joy, Lara. Follow the joy. That's all you need to do is follow the joy. So we're talking to the joy coach about following the joy. Of course, she knows this. But what's so interesting again is how almost sometimes these things feel so simple that we almost, again, don't value the importance of it. So there's been a lot of things that I've wanted to do for a long time. And one of the things that just recently happened was I've had this dream of riding horses my whole life and basically being like the horse whisperer. That's like my dream, just to hang out with horses and connect to horses and ride horses. And it's been kind of even on my vision board. And again, these last few weeks, actually, I've just decided to choose some things that are actually just aligned with joy, pure joy, that aren't to do with business, aren't to do with self-development. They're just for me. And what's so interesting is how I hadn't really been choosing some of those things. And so just recently I signed up for horse riding lessons. I've got a horse stables like quite near to me. And it never really occurred to me to just, or I don't know, I didn't prioritize it time-wise, financially, to just do that. And so there's been a few things recently. And I think it's because I'd always make choices that were for my business, that were for my clients, and that were also for self-development. And I'd invest in those things, but I wasn't so good at investing in things that were just for pure joy. And yet that I know is like one of the secret sauce ingredients to our success. So we can know these things, but actioning them is a different thing.
Yeah, and I mean, even though it's like you with the money manifestation, like as the joy coach, like I know what I need to be doing, and I know like how it works. And there are areas of my life where I 100%, kind of prioritize my joy. Like, I was talking to somebody the other day about how I have curated my business in a way that, I get to do all of these amazing things every day that I love, that work for me, So, but then I sometimes forget, because you can be very focused on my business. Sometimes I forget to actually put the things I enjoy in my time outside of work. I'm just like, I seriously have to just, it's something I'm still working on. And it's not that I don't know what I want to do. It's that I'm not prioritizing it.
Exactly.
I'm not actually going, right, I'll buy that ticket or I'll put that date in the diary. That's the second thing of my process. I'm like, you prioritize the thing. I was like, right, still working on that one outside of work. So, it's that ongoing, it's the ongoing practice, the habit of, choosing those things for ourselves.
Yes. And it's so easy to sort of put those on the back burner as well.
Yeah.
They're not essential. Oh, that's just for joy. That's just, But those are the things, I know that when I actually choose those things, that it's really quite life-changing. Like that's when the ideas come. That's when you get these creative downloads it contributes so much to the success in our life and business. And it seems like, I don't have time for that.
Yes. Yeah. But the truth is, if we don't have everything we want, then it's a thing, it's the secret, as you say, the secret sauce. It's like, start bringing it in now, and actually it mushrooms. That's the right word, isn't it? Mushrooms. It'll do for now.
Yeah. And actually someone said to me recently, like, what's really helpful about that too is it takes you out of your routine.
Yeah.
So when we're in our kind of routine or our comfort zone, we kind of basically will create our life as it is. So we need to step out of what we know and step out of our comfort zone and do something different in order to open up new doors to sort of new possibilities, new ways of thinking. And I feel that's very, very true. And sometimes following the joy when we do things a little bit differently,
Yeah.
that it really opens up, it creates space. It creates space for new things.
Yes. So, I mean, with your horse riding, you know, because you'll be learning, it'll be new and different. So you'll be really present.
Yeah.
You know, you'll actually, and I suppose that's also one of the things that I talk about with, you know, your stuff and my stuff. You've got to be present, you know, you have to be present to where you are right now. But as you say, like, and there's like the excited nervousness when you do something new. So yes, I hadn't actually thought about it in that way, but it does open up the space, as you say, for new ideas and new directions to come in.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, so I had another two questions for you. So the first one is around, so I know you've been kind of going through this like the last 9 months, but have you noticed anything kind of out there? So obviously, for, you know, within conscious entrepreneurs, or, you know, are there any specific challenges you've noticed or shifts that are happening that you could share with us?
Well, I don't know. Sometimes I think when I'm going through something, it feels like everything in my life mirrors it.
Right.
So I don't know if this is something going on in the world or if it's just people I'm in contact with. But I've definitely noticed that a lot of the women, the female entrepreneurs that I've been connected to that are quite successful in their businesses, are all going through really big changes and going through a period of questioning, or going through a period of feeling like maybe the way that they've been working isn't aligned. So the women that I'm really connected to that are, you call successful in their business, are making quite big changes at the moment, and scaling back. So there seemed to be a big wave of this kind of bigger is better, and like, you know, lots of followers and like making big money and all this kind of very exciting online business stuff. And I've noticed that seems to be really changing, or there's a need for a new way of doing things. And the women that I'm in contact with, they tend to be simplifying, scaling back, kind of it's like doing a big declutter of the things that actually aren't really aligned. The things that aren't actually serving them, that aren't actually bringing them what they want or what they hoped it would bring. So simplifying seems to be the theme that I'm noticing. And also finding different ways to do online marketing. So I've noticed that there is I don't know, again, like this is where I'm at now that I've taken a big step back from all the marketing strategies. It seems like people are ready for new, fresh online marketing strategies. And I've noticed that too, that the old ways aren't working so well for people. So I'm interested. I'm quite intrigued to see what comes. I feel like there's a whole new way ready to be born. And this seems to do a little bit more with like in-person actual like human connection.
Yes.
So these are some of the themes I've noticed going on recently.
Yeah, and especially the marketing one, I've seen that quite a lot and had conversations myself. You know, I've got friends who are like, I'm tired of doing it the way I've been taught to do it or been told to do it, because it doesn't, as you say, it doesn't feel in alignment with them anymore. They're like, I don't want to communicate that way. I just want to communicate human to human. If you're interested in working with me or finding out more, great. And if you're not, you're not. But just simplifying, less, you can get those when people do launches, you can get quite a lot of, information. But as you say, just that whole, just connecting one-to-one and finding, resonance first and then kind of taking it further. And I don't know, and it's been interesting. I've watched a couple of other friends, like, I think Kathy Ballard and Holly Wharton, I know they talk about this quite a lot. And it's like the whole, it's called the new, there's a lady out there who calls it the new marketing. And actually talking about, anyway, this is a whole, because obviously, as you know, I have a background in writing and copywriting, so that's my past. So this whole, how is this new communication happening is really fascinating to me. So yes, something that I've seen and I'm really interested to watch and see how that unfolds as well.
Cool.
Yes. Anyway, so next question for you. Actually, last one for today, just looking at my little note there. So knowing what you know now, and this is going to be interesting given your recent experience. So knowing what you know now, what piece of advice would you give your younger self just starting out in business?
Wow. Yeah. So for my younger self, I'd be talking to her about how she feels about herself.
Okay.
And what I'd say to her is own yourself, own your gifts, and basically help her with her self-worth and her sense of self, which is you don't have to give it all away. Own it for yourself, that what you've got is something special and extraordinary and really powerful. And also, just because people don't understand it or get it or seem to resonate doesn't mean it's not of value, that you're not of value. And all will come in time, my dear. I'll be like this 80-year-old higher self now, like wise sage to my younger self. All will come, darling.
All will come, little Padawan.
Yeah, so I would just tell her to just trust to be herself. And if you get the feedback that you get from other people, it doesn't determine your worth. So everyone's just doing them. And because I think I really needed that external validation. I think I needed that to feel like to get feedback. And that can be quite crippling if you need it, because then if you don't get it, it can be quite challenging to trust yourself moving forward. To trust yourself, I'd say that.
Yes, yeah, and I've experienced that one as well. It's like without, the positive feedback of like, it's the right thing, the right direction, but I'm looking for that from the outside rather than, now I can trust that I'm making the right, decisions, even if the feedback is not as I would like from a logical perspective. Yes. Actually, what you just said made me think of one more thing I'd love to ask you. Because obviously in our chat last week, one of the things that you kind of shared with me was around like claiming your space or claiming your, is that, I want, and it was a really interesting twist for me to think about it in that way. So could you just share really, like what do you, in terms of like our money manifestation journey and like our self-worth, that whole idea of claiming what we want?
Gosh, how long do we have?
I know. I was like, in the last 5 minutes, like, answer that really big question.
Very fast. So, claiming what you want is also about claiming yourself. So they're actually the same thing. And energetically speaking, this is about really. So I was doing a lot of fist slamming with Lynn last week.
Were.
Boom!
We were bouncing up and down on the chair as we hit the seat.
Really crazy. But basically, this is about landing really powerfully in your center. So on an energy level, it's about getting really connected in your base chakra. So really grounded, really in your legs, in your feet, in your ankles. It's about really landing into your belly. And a lot of us are quite disconnected. And so when I say claim what you want, or it's okay to claim what you want, it's also about saying it's okay to be yourself. So claim yourself in the world. Be yourself in the world. And again, this is actually quite a massive conversation, but there's so much around we doubt ourselves or question ourselves, or we shrink ourselves based on how the world is responding to us or people are responding to us. And it can be very, especially when you're highly sensitive. Like I'm quite a highly sensitive person, so I can get very knocked around by other people's energy. So claiming yourself is really like landing into your center. So you're like the lighthouse, you're like the rock. And whatever is going on around you, then you can be that solid centered person. But that also then includes what you want. And this is about, it's also like claim what you want, claim yourself, because when you're really connected to yourself will guide you towards what you truly want and truly desire. And it's okay. It's like giving yourself full permission to want. And there's a slight difference between wanting from the level of our ego and mind and wanting from the level of our heart and soul. So, but when we're really connected to ourselves, we'll know it's like that deep yearning inside. There is a bit of a practice to really listen, like what's our mind and what's our ego. But deep wanting, like it's okay for you to have. It's okay for you to be wealthy and happy and abundant, and you can have that and claim it and choose it. And anything we manifest comes from us fully choosing it and fully aligning to that choice. So it's a bit like, you know, a bit diva-esque in a way where you're like, I'm going to have that. I'm going for that. And no one's going to stop me. But if it's really connected to our heart, then you can't ever create anything that's bad. You know, there's nothing bad around that, around wanting for yourself. Just claim yourself, claim what you want, choose it, and go make it happen.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I'm a very practical girl. So on a practical level, so I have a client who she bought a hula hoop. And so she's out, because we were talking about getting the energy down into your hips, you know, like you're talking about bringing it down from the heart so that it can go through your body down and actually, you know, kind of into the earth so that you can then kind of call it in. That's my words. But it's like, you know, getting that energy down into your hips, which is our place of creativity and fertility and things like that. So, you know, as I said, someone I know has bought a hula hoop, which I thought was a brilliant idea. And I'll do a bit of dancing. Are they good ways, you know, to kind of really ground into ourselves as well?
Yeah, I love
you have lots of tools. So, yeah.
Lots of tools. Getting into your body is a really, really powerful one. So hula hooping is great because that really unlocks the hips, kind of connects us to that kind of sensual life force energy, which is quite like the sacral chakra area around our belly. But yeah, getting out in nature, so being barefoot, that is grounding, really connecting to nature, yoga, dance, generally movement, any kind of movement's good, but generally movement is a bit more kind of sensual or connected to the body, really helps. It's not kind of slamming your body in a really hard way, but really like a kind of more connected movement.
Yeah.
That's why I like, the hula hooping's great, dance, movement, walking in nature, being in nature. Swimming would be good.
Yeah.
But when we bring our focus of, if you do have the intention before you do those things to really connect to yourself,
right,
and that will help to get the energy flowing as well.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, lovely Lara.
You're so welcome. It's my great pleasure.
Oh, that was very Australian of you. My great pleasure. So if people would like to find out more about you and your work, where can they find you?
Well, I have a website, larawaldman.com. I'm on Instagram under Lara Waldman Official, and I'm on Facebook under Lara Grove Waldman. So you can message me in any of those places and get in touch. It'd be lovely to hear from you.
Fantastic. And as I said, Lara has been a speaker at the Joy Jam sessions. She will return for sure. And also she's going to be a guest expert in the upcoming Conscious Entrepreneur Community, the Joy Jam Collective, which I'm launching on June 25th, so not long now. So that's going to be very fun to have Lara in there. And if you'd like to find out more about that, it's linhord.com/the collective. But if you follow the links wherever you found this video, all of the links and things we mentioned today will be in the show notes below anyhow. So thank you so much, my darling, for coming to be a guest with me today and letting me and sharing your journey, your current journey with everybody. It's really awesome and inspiring to see as you go along.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. Thanks for having me. Lots of love.
Likewise. All right, everyone, thanks so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next interview, which will be out in a few days or maybe next week. Anyway, all right, everyone, take care. See you next time.